bringing you the latest news, game updates, insights, highlights, and everything Liberty Hockey. This is Rock the Rink, where Liberty Hockey lives.
Welcome on back to the Rock the Rink podcast here on the campus of Liberty University. Great to have you guys here with us. 6 collective home wins over the past weekend, 2 of those being shootout wins. So we had some pretty electric hockey in the LIC this past weekend. Can't wait to break it all down for you. Before we hop right on in, this podcast is brought to you by the Virginia Army National Guard. The next greatest generation is now, and it begins with you. Get a head start on your career in exciting fields like science, communications, engineering, and medicine, along with tuition assistance in the Virginia National Guard. To learn more about the Virginia Army National Guard, check out Join VA Guard on Facebook and Instagram, or email us at nationalguard@liberty.edu. That's nationalguard@liberty.edu. So the first 2 wins, top 10 wins, were secured this past weekend for the men's Division I team over Utah. A lot of hype surrounding these games, but I think when you walk away from it, Pat, it felt pretty good to see the way that Liberty kind of imposed their will on that team early in Game 1 and then had to fight through some adversity in Game 2.
Yeah, it really did. Obviously, I think the big thing, too, also, they controlled the pace all weekend, right? So that's good. That's what you wanted to see from this team. Like, start off fast, continue to really maintain offensive possession, push the tempo of the game, and obviously it was a great night for Utah's goaltender Greilich, who really, honestly, he played phenomenal. 40 plus saves in night 2, which is similar to when he played Missouri State. He had 40 plus saves when they won 1-0 the weekend before. So obviously it was tough for Liberty to get anything past them, but you love the I know we talked before we started how they kind of got into that desperation mode and had to fight back, because twice they had to come back from a goal down, and they were able to find the answers, which you love to see.
Yeah. And welcome back Tucker Shields this weekend as well. You could tell that he was back on the ice, just his presence. And he's one of those guys that is not afraid to just get up there and work hard. And when you have a guy like that, he's going to produce for a team like Liberty, especially, you mentioned, against the goaltender they were facing, where, hey, you're not going to score against him just going glove side, taking your everyday shot. You had to get up there, create things off of rebounds and really work for it.
Yeah, and obviously, the only person scoring against him right now is Ryan Finch. Obviously, he played phenomenal.
Yeah.
Great goal on the short side. How he tucked that through, I have no idea. On the power play, that was like they said on the broadcast, a goal scorer's goal. So that was fantastic. But then, kind of what was being said, hey, the only way we're going to get a goal is it's going to be off of a rebound. And Pomerleau does what he does, finds a way to get the puck on net, bounces off a couple bodies, and then it finds its way to Tucker Shields' stick with a minute to go. But obviously, again, that's what you want to see for Liberty and want to push them in those moments early on this season, right? Hey, how do we battle back from a really good team with great goaltending, a guy that's standing on his head all night, and are we able to capitalize? And you were able to do that, and that's what you want early on this season, especially with the team still with a couple bodies lingering and banged up right now.
Yeah, I mean, Utah, I feel sucked Liberty down into the mud a little bit with them.
I thought you were just going to go with that first.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, they got sucked down into the mud. I just got to talk a little quicker. Down into the muck with Utah. As far as in that second game, they sort of got forced into playing Utah style of hockey. Obviously Liberty was the better team all weekend without shooting them. Obviously dominating possession for most of it, but I think Utah is comfortable playing those games where they're still getting outshot, but if we can bring them down, slow the game down, take away time and space, and try to draw people into the penalty box, they're going to be successful, obviously, with good goaltending. But it was really nice to see Liberty. Obviously, they dominated night 1. They got some bounces, lit the lamp. The goalie probably wants a couple of those back, which you said, Tucker Shields, he scored the first goal from the point, glove side, bit of a floater. It might have been tipped in.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's really nice to see Liberty win that second game, and even just learning experience of hey, we can't take these many penalties. We have to dictate the pace of play and not be sucked into that style of play.
Right.
But they were still able to fight through the adversity. and still come away with the win.
Yeah, and I also like what you said too. Obviously, night 2, Liberty was not getting any of those bounces, right? Like they hit 4 posts in that game, so obviously they had a chance to potentially blow the game open, and they just could not get it. And then obviously like got stuck in a lot of penalty trouble, especially early, and it came back to bite them because 2 power play goals, great goals too by Utah. They like to get their defensemen getting pucks on net and trying to make something happen there. Did great jobs with 2 screens on Couch. They knew that was the only way they were going to score on a goaltender like that, and they paid it off. So, again, great job for Liberty trying to find a way to battle through that adversity. Because how many times have we heard Coach Handy always say, like, hey, want to test these guys and put them in situations that they're not comfortable with, and then see how they're going to respond.
Yeah. And I want to go back to something that Ryan Finch said this weekend. I interviewed him in between the second and third period of game 2. Obviously was having an unreal weekend at that point. And he told me, man, I'm just feeling so comfortable in this line because I have 2 guys, both NCAA D3 transfers, that have such high hockey IQ, and it's really making a big difference for me. And I want to ask this to you, Forth. Like, have you seen that happen with certain players where sometimes all it takes is just shuffling up the people around them to really help that player flourish?
Yeah, it's hard, right? So sometimes you get a line that's like, hey, this is a line, we're not going to touch it. You know, like that old dog line from last year, Versalano, Olsen and Calendike, right? Yeah. Like, you don't need to do anything. Whether they have an off game or whatever, you know it's going to come back, even though it's not pretty sometimes, they're going to produce, they're going to be reliable. Yeah. But yeah, like, especially with all these new guys, and, okay, if you're a coach and you look at this team, okay, who are the studs? Okay, you've got the DeMars, you've got Shields, right? Some other guys, but it's Finch. He's a guy that, like, you circle in the lineup. Like, how do we get 5 to 4 to 6% more each night out of this guy? And who can we put with him to be able to get that? So yes, it's a blender thing, and sometimes, and I wouldn't be surprised even if it gets switched up at some point, because sometimes you go cold and you need a little bit of a spark, and somebody else could light that. But yeah, it's a big song and dance all season long, finding the right guys with the right guys. Yeah,
I mean, just for him to have that confidence at this point of the year, like, hey, this is what I'm capable of.
And you can see it too. Like when he's out there, he finds those little soft spots and just leans into the puck, and it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, so much less hesitance this year too in every aspect. But game 2 was that battle of special teams, and Pat, I wanted to ask you, what were your takeaways from all the special teams we saw from Liberty's end of things?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the PK is better than, I know they gave up 2 goals, but the PK is still pretty solid. Like, those are good goals that they gave up, right? Like, I mean, there's not much you can do about getting the screen. The first one's a moving screen, so, like, kind of drew up to perfection of what Coach Feeney wants from his team with Utah. And so, like, that's a little hard for Couch to be able to see. And then the second one, again, nice screen in front. And I know he was, they were battling down there, right? But so, like, that got the defender that covered Couch was having a battle with the defenseman that was down there from Liberty. So, like, obviously for them, like, keep your job up, like, as far as the D goes, because they were still doing all the things right that you want. You just got to stay out of the box a little bit more, especially this upcoming weekend, which I know we'll talk about soon. But I do know on the power play, finally got it clicking a little bit better. Got 3 goals this weekend. I'm sure they would like a couple more considering how many power play opportunities they had. And I think the biggest thing for them, like, consistently trying to, on both units, there's a bit of a different look. But yeah, just make sure you're finding some way to get traffic in front of the net, because that's also too, when you have the net presence, that's when goals were going in on the power play too. So, like, I feel like, especially when they're going to play, like, they see Utah again, or the Adrians and Maryville coming up later this year, Minot State, all those top 10, top 5 teams, like, they're going to have great goaltending too, and you're going to need to be able to take away that goaltender's eyes until, like, eventually the floodgates pour open for you.
Yeah, and before we completely move on from Utah, let's park on them for just one more second. Night 1, I think it was pretty clear that, hey, it's a tired group. Just made the trip all the way over from the West Coast, facing the best team they have faced this season. They're about to go take on UNLV now. What was our overall consensus from the Utah Utes, a team that's trying to push to be in the, higher part of the top 10 of the ACHA this year?
Well, I think for them, too, they're also trying to replace, when you have 2 guys that were your top scorer, like, I believe they had their top 2 scorers and their 5th scorer gone.
Yeah.
Now, so a guy that's now your top scorer was a defenseman last year in Delaney. So, and he was a rookie too. So you need him to lead the way. And I think he'll still be one of the top scoring D in the country. But like trying to replace that much points because they lose 80 plus points from just those three guys I just mentioned and along with others. So like for them, I think still trying to figure things out. But they've got a recipe, I think, for success and a really good goaltending battle too between Greilich and Fuller. Like I think night one was not a typical night for Fuller, right? Like I think he's a much more capable goaltender than that. So it'll be interesting to see as this team continues to go, and especially now they're going to play UNLV because UNLV's penciled preseason number 1 in the West. Utah's number 2. So this will be a really good matchup for them, I think, this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, I mean, number 10 ranking, from what I saw, seems a little high, if I'm being perfectly honest, right? Sure. And like you said, they lost some top-end talent, so their identity is a little bit different this year. It's going to have to be if they want to be successful. Yeah. I just don't know how many nights in a row you can be outshot by double and still be successful. You might win a few of those games, but that'll make for a long season. So I think just some tweaks here and there, and I think they're just lacking that top end. Yeah. That like these the real top 4 to 5 teams have. I think they're just missing that right now. But hopefully they develop, and by the end of the season, they'll figure some things out. But obviously, like what we saw.
Yeah, for sure. So now Liberty is going to prepare to take on Adrian. Really excited for this set of games. Yeah. It's been a gradual progression schedule-wise for this Liberty team, and now they're taking on the big test. And good news, they're going to have Hayden DeMars back. I'm assuming they're not like going to put it out there.
Oh, wait, did you... Yeah. You cleared him?
No,
it's official, folks. Annie has cleared Hayden DeMars.
Guys, okay?
I agree with what Annie said.
Yeah,
I understand. Yeah, I think
they probably held him out maybe this weekend.
That's what I was thinking,
to make
too.
Sure.
Yeah, because the week before, you're hearing things he might be back against Utah. It makes total sense from a coaching perspective that you would keep him out just one more weekend to make sure he's 100% ready. Especially
after how night 1 went, right? Like you're thinking, okay, we can definitely sit him again.
Yeah, and it's funny talking to these athletes. Like I've had limited interaction with Hayden, and like, I saw him in a boot, and like, or I mean, it could be upper body. I don't know. Yeah. But like, I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, how you doing?" Like, "Oh, good." Like, you be back soon? Oh yeah, I'll be back. Like, these guys are super optimistic, right? They just want to be in the lineup every chance they get. So obviously, he'll be ready no matter what.
Yeah, and while I'm thinking about it, last week I had said, I'd given a little shout out to Seth Hugin's father, who I ran into that watches the podcast. I actually meant Seth Wall. Seth Wall's dad came up to me and was like, you got the wrong Seth father.
Mr. Wall was
super nice about it. He's walking around the rink, showing up to support, even though Seth Wall was out with an illness for the past 2 games this past series. So we expect to see him back against Adrian as well. This game is a big deal, though. Going all the way over to Adrian, I know that's where they suffered their first loss to the Bulldogs last season, but from then on, it was all wins against Adrian. What are our overall thoughts about this game? Because from my perspective, okay, it's big that you have no Noah Ducotney's anymore for Adrian. On the other hand, though, they do still have Sebastian Smith, Dylan Gajowski, Justin Jammer, Ethan McLaughlin, your top guys.
Justin Jammer?
Justin Jammer.
What a hockey name. I like that name a lot.
Yeah.
Justin, but like Jammer, what a great last name.
Yeah, right. They have some great names.
Yeah.
Anyways, Pat, what are the thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think for obviously when you go against any group that Coach Styles puts together, you're going to play one of the top teams in the country. Ever since he's become the bench boss up in Bulldog country, they have been not only a top 10 team, but a top 5 team. They've been to 4 of the last 5 national championships, won 2 of them. Sorry, championship games, rather.
Yep.
And you're both undefeated right now. So, I mean, this is a pretty big game, I think, to start the season. But I think 1-2 for Liberty. This is, again, we've talked about that rev up. Good test to start things out, but also this isn't the season. You have to remember that too. This is the part to build to the season goal, right? Like there's a good chance we're going to play Adrian or a team similar to Adrian at Nationals in the Final Four, maybe even in the quarter. So it's about building for what's to come later in this year. So that's the key thing for Liberty. You want to keep putting things together to build because you're off also too next weekend. So yeah, you want to have a good showing up in Adrian, hopefully rest, and then get ready for another rival in Stony Brook. So, I think just continue to build on the special teams, build on 5-on-5, build on staying out of the box as well.
Yep.
That got him in trouble in game 1 last year up at Adrian. So, and just, again, continue to build.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. But, discipline, that's got to be top of your list. How can we do what we can do, like, to stay out of the box against this top team, right? Like, you look at it like this is a weekend of like 2 or 3 weekends that you circle, and everybody, including coaches, they love doing it. They love going to Adrian. They love the grind. It's going to be a great weekend, and like you said, it's not March hockey, so let's see where we're at. Like 7-0 versus 8-0 on the season. It's a great weekend just to see where each team is at and where the league is at.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're talking about not jumping to conclusions and everything, but we're going to do that a little bit right now.
That's all right.
Jumping to conclusions.
We're going to do 2 versions of are we benched or are we on board?
Come on now.
The first one, we're just going to rewind to the past a little bit because this game makes me a little bit, I don't know, it stirs up some emotions because in my mind, if Liberty wins that UNLV game last year in Nationals, if that whole third period doesn't happen, I think they're the national champions, and Adrian doesn't win that game just like they didn't beat UNLV. I think that Liberty was clearly the better team in that scenario. I'm going to ask, do you bench that thought, or are you on board with it? Like, if Liberty wins
I'm on
that
board
game,
with that. Yeah, I think they would have been hyped and confident enough to feel like I don't think they would have beaten Adrian the way UNLV did.
Yeah.
UNLV, I think that was the first time Adrian and UNLV saw each other last year, was in the final, and UNLV got shut out a year ago to Adrian, I believe 3-0 or 4-0. So yeah, that they were chomping at the bit to play them again. And I think Liberty probably wins that game by a goal or 2. Yeah. I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that.
All right, fourth.
I'm going to bench it.
You're going to bench it?
Yeah, I'm going to bench it. I think maybe that mental hurdle would have been there still.
Yeah.
From years previous and just the first national championship game.
That's true.
The Bulldogs are just a good squad, so
yeah.
just to oppose.
Yeah, to oppose. There we go.
Why not?
Well, you know what? The good news is we're never going to find out.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
UNLV still ready.
That's right. That's right.
Second one for you guys. Okay, does Liberty walk? Okay, Liberty walks away from this sweeping Adrian once again. Do we bench that, or are we on board with that?
I'm going to bench it.
You're going to bench it?
I'm going to say they split.
Okay.
So now, can I see the sweep? Yeah, and maybe this is tackling fuel, right? Well, apparently they listen, so let's go. But yeah, I'm gonna say it's a split this year again.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I don't think we've ever swept Adrian in Adrian.
Yeah.
So, and we've only swept them twice at home. So yeah, I would be more confident to say it's probably going to be a split, but you never know.
You never know.
So.
I think they win these 2 games.
Yeah.
But I think it's more beneficial if they go 0-2 or if they split.
Ooh.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's obviously more of a reminder of things that need to change against the top team. So if I
like that.
I think they win both games, but I hope as a coach they split.
Okay. See, I'm like totally on the fence with this one. I just got to make a decision. It's like, okay, I'm just going to be on board with it. I have a lot of confidence.
On board, they're going to sweep?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm on board with it right now. I think you're bringing Hayden DeMars back. You're going to have your special teams units at full strength. And then at the same time, you got so many reps for those units this past weekend as well. There really wasn't a situation, special teams-wise, that they didn't face. They also faced that experience of being down in the game and needing to score a goal in the late minutes and then going into overtime and all that jazz. I just feel really good about this group right now, and I feel really good about Ryan Finch, the way he's playing.
Yeah.
I think if he continues to be a game breaker, he can do it at all different levels of the ACHA this year. And yeah, that top line of DeMars, Shields, and Cocksmith is going to be back.
Right.
I can't wait to see them in action. So yeah, there is the whole element of Adrian. They're an extremely seasoned group. You're going up to play at their rink. This Liberty team, man, first road trip of the season. That works. No, technically.
True road trip.
trip.
I understand.
That works against them a little bit, but it also might pump them up, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be on board with it. I think that Liberty walks away from this 10-0 on the season.
Nice.
All
right,
like
so...
Hold on.
Yeah.
Before we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we're about to move on to women's D1. Real quick. Coaching staff, I think it's time to name the new A.
Okay.
I think we all know who. We've talked about it off the pod, off the broadcast. It's Tucker Shields.
Yeah.
I think it's time to put an A on that guy's sweater. Obviously, when you bring in a group, Chris Kerr, I wish Chris Kerr was here today to back me up with this because he got a little more insight.
Yeah.
But when you bring in a team like they have last year, right? Like we've talked about how it reminded us of that class of 2020, 2021, whatever, when some guys were fourth year, fifth year, whatever. But
seventh year.
Exactly. But when you brought last year's group had a lot of guys that reminded you of them, but the biggest thing, most of those guys either wore an A or C when they played their junior career, and it's about now, okay, well, there's a bunch of leaders out of them. But the way Tucker Shields was this past weekend, way I've seen his demeanor, how he's been in the locker room, workouts, everything over the last year and some change, in my head, I'm like, it's time. Just name the guy the A. This past weekend proved it to me for some reason. I was like, man, something stood out about him in his first weekend back against a top 10. I think it's time to put an A on him.
Annie, on the board or on the bench? Just kidding.
No, just like a totally different source of energy, like you said. And I feel like I agree from the conversations that I've had with him. I mean, that guy lives and breathes hockey, but he also cares so deeply about everyone in that locker room. So, yeah, I agree with you, Pat. I can see that happening.
I honestly don't know enough about him and the situation, so I will not be commenting.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to move on now to our women's Division 1 team. Absolute domination over Utah, winning 10-0 and 9-0. Again, just clicking on all cylinders. I mean, so many different goal scorers for them on the weekend. I almost feel like I'm doing this group a disservice when we do discussions about them because, at some point, there's not just a ton to say. They're great. They're great at what they do. So I guess I'll just pass it off to you guys. Thoughts on the weekend and how dynamic this Liberty team is looking through their first couple series of games.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great word to say. They're so dynamic, right? They can score in so many ways. It's kind of scary how good they're going to be. Now, obviously, you're, again, another rev up, waiting to see when they go up to Adrian, play them. That's always a good test for them. When they play Maryville at the beginning of November, that's another good test. Arguably, I think a lot of people are penciling those two is going to be finals rematch already. But, they're so talented, so deep. And I think also a bigger point, too, from this year, the defense is contributing with not just getting goals, but more importantly, pucks on net, right? And I think Chris Lowe's, he preaches the tip drill. They do it so well. Shot from the point, getting someone, redirect it in, and you saw it time and time again over the weekend. And I'm like, that is just a recipe for success.
Yeah, I think, like you said, what is there to say except this team is absolutely sick right now.
Yeah.
They, talking to the coaching staff, it's kind of hard to say is Utah a bad team? I don't think they're a bad team at all. I think they're middle of the pack. I think they may squeak into that top 12 spot to make it to nationals this year, right? They might steal a couple late.
Because the West gets an auto bid still, right? The Western Conference.
Yeah. Yep. So if they can beat the Colorados out there, they have a good chance. But again, they didn't have any top end. That's the biggest thing. Liberty's team is so deep.
Yeah.
Right.
Any forward in their lineup, let's say top 4 lines, 12 forwards, any team in the league would take them and they would be top 9.
Yeah.
Any team, including Maryville. So they're so deep. I think they're coached well. Defensively, they're so sound. Goaltending's elite. Okay, maybe let's look at power play could score more, but they do that well.
Yeah.
PK is good. Let's just focus on the neutral zone, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, where can we get more pucks?
Yeah.
Right. But again, they're playing March hockey in September and October.
Yeah.
So I think their game is continue to roll, but not forget to tweak those little details because that's where it's going to matter. And historically, they've done that. So I think they're in a really good spot, and they just keep doing what they've been doing.
Yeah, this is a group that's so locked in right now, and they're going to take on Rhode Island. After that, that's when you face Adrian and you get your first huge test of the season and really see where you're at with the upper echelon of the ACHA. But man, they're locked in. It's Wednesday. It's their day off. I'm running into Brooklyn Beauchamp at my workout class. I said, Brooklyn, you're on the hockey team. Don't you get enough work in already? She goes, it's my day off. I have to work today as well. So I say, you know what, Brooklyn, good for you. Keep putting in the work because it's paying off. You know?
Spin class or Pilates?
It was Pilates, yeah.
Not to put you guys in a box.
No, great strength training, you know. But anyways,
that's a big Pilates guy.
Oh man, yep, love it.
So I'm just saying they are working out there, all gas. no breaks.
That's right.
But yeah, so they're going to take on Rhode Island this weekend. Honestly, I don't know too much about this Rhode Island team. Pat, what do you know about them?
I don't know much about them recently. I know in the past they were consistent, not only a team that made nationals, but then unfortunately they were one of those teams that got snubbed a fair amount of times too, because like someone would get the auto bid and so they would leap Rhode Island and I'd be like, man, Rhode Island should be at the tournament. But so I don't know much about this team over the last couple seasons because it's been a while since they've come to the LIC, so it'll be interesting 2 sets of games. I know that for the ladies, and I think the biggest thing for them, they're hoping to continue to roll. I don't expect it to be a 19-0 weekend for them again, but I do expect a very solid showing for them. And like Coach Forth just said, it's just continue to tweak little things to continue to get better so they're ready for March.
Yeah, I think unfortunately it will be another 19-0 game. Weekend. We'll say weekend, not weekend. But I imagine the score is going to be very similar.
Yeah.
Like this team can just score, like we talked about. Historically, Rhode Island's been like early days. They were a good team. They were a top competing team. Yeah. In 2012, 13, 14, they were still really good. I remember when we went there and we won. It was a big deal. And then when Chris took over Women's 1 in like 17, 18, that's when it started to change a little bit to where it's like they didn't recruit heavily those top players. So the last few years they haven't played much because of that. But Rhode Island, like Utah, is a team that is willing to come to the LIC because they know that they're the standard.
Yeah.
And if we can play more games against Liberty, we can see what the top is like.
Yeah.
You know, you can see that mountaintop, so to speak. And I think it speaks volumes of what Chris and the coaching staff are doing, and obviously Club Sports, Kirk Handy, and the whole department, as far as like our club sports department is really the standard, should be across the country.
Right.
Yeah.
So even when they come here, they get thumped and they say thank you on the way out. I think that speaks volumes. So again, Rhode Island, hopefully they'll have a good learning weekend, but it should be clean sweep.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think back a couple weeks ago when Coach Mittelmeyer for Delaware told us, hey, Liberty is our measuring stick. They're the person that we're going to really see where we're at. Same type of thing with this women's team. I mean, Purcell comes here to play the top ACHA team in the nation. They walk out saying thank you for your time. And same thing with Utah. So yeah, it's fun being that top of the standard, but at the same time, a lot of pressure as well because you got a lot to live up to, and every team is coming up here giving it everything they have. So it's going to be a fun pair of games. It's only 2 this weekend, or 3?
Only
just 2.
Good pair of games against Rhode Island this weekend. Fun to see our Lady Flames back in action. Now we got to move on to our men's Division 2 team.
Yes,
the first sweep of the year. I know we were a little hard on them last week, okay? But I'm not going to apologize because they end up walking out of there with 2 wins. So, yeah, great to see for that group. Great to see the variety of scoring that was able to step up when they really needed it. Great to see a young goaltender getting his feet wet out there and earning both wins. And great to see some overtime hockey, a shootout win for this group.
Yeah, another shootout win. Obviously, they got their first win in the Coach Garland era with a shootout, beating Virginia Tech, which I think that rivalry is going to get more renewed as the next few seasons. But yeah, I think it's, Northeastern is going to be a team that is going to be probably top 8 to top 5 in the Northeast region. So this is a national or a team that continually goes to national. So it's a good job for them to get a win, build confidence earlier in this season. It was good to see that they got a lot of good production from a bunch of different guys on the team too, right? You had 5 goals scored this weekend, 5 different goal scorers. Fort just talked about getting your young goaltender a big win. So Young getting not only his first shutout of his career, but then also being able to still hold the line, so to speak, in that second game. So yeah, a lot of positives, I think, for this weekend.
Absolutely. But the job is not done.
That's right.
You have the big boys coming into the LaHaye Ice Center this weekend. I'm really excited to watch these games on Thursday and Friday. Lindenwood, obviously some very rocky history with this team. A lot of heartbreaking defeats have come at the hands of Lindenwood. So there's a lot of players that are still on this team. I mean, not a lot. There's actually just a handful of players still on this team that know that history with Lindenwood. And when I look at it, I think, thank goodness you got these wins over Northeastern just a huge boost of confidence before
Agreed.
Lindenwood comes in here, because if you end up dropping 1 or 2 of those games, you would just probably feel pretty crushed before you have one of the, if not the top team in the ACHA walking in your doorstep. But no, you got a team that's injected with life, and they're ready to see what's coming.
Yeah, you're right about getting those 2 wins. How sucky would it be if you go 1-11? Right? So I'm going to be the first one to say I am glad that I was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can admit that,
That's
but I am
right.
very thankful that I was incorrect in my prediction.
Yeah.
So kudos to the whole team. After practice this morning, I was leaving. Coach Garland and Coach Graham were walking down the hallway towards their locker room with a new pep in their step. I thought I heard John Cena's theme song in the background as I passed them.
There we go.
So it's really good to see the guys kind of buy into what the entire team is doing.
Right.
And
starting to find their identity too.
And get rewarded. Right. And so like it's obviously discouraging if you go 1-11 or, you're 1-7 heading into this weekend. But the fact of like they're seeing the fruits of their labor and continuing if we do the little things right and continue to work hard, there's rewards there at certain points. So yeah, I think Lindenwood, again, they are, let's say, at least the hockey standard at men's too.
Right.
So again, what a great test. Whether you win both, split, or lose 2, you're going to come away with information that's going to be extremely valuable moving forward in the season.
Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of what we were just talking about, where like, hey, teams want to come in and play the Women's Division 1 team. Every team wants to go and play Lindenwood because they are the top at the top right now in the ACHA. So no matter what comes of it, you're going to walk away knowing something new about your team.
Because they're coming here, right?
Yep.
Oh, even better. Like, you don't even have to go to St. Louis to play them. They're coming to you.
Yeah.
Great.
They're coming
Sleep
here.
in your own bed.
Right? Yeah.
Eat your own steaks.
Yep.
Let's go.
No, I'm really excited because I get to do play-by-play for the game on Thursday, and I just feel like this team, like when they played at FGCU in those games, you had to pay to watch the games. I wasn't able to see any of that. Like this past weekend, like I was working different games. While
You need to borrow money. I can if you want to watch them.
That's what I'm saying, guys. The GoFundMe is in my bio. But I'm just like really excited to get an up close look at this team, and I think it's going to be a fun series. It's a great Lindenwood team, but whenever they walk in the building, it pumps this team up a little bit more than they normally would be, and I don't think you can deny that.
Yeah, and I think too, like you just said, there's only a handful of guys that know what it's like to play this Lindenwood team. So you're hoping with all the new players that youthful energy comes in. They're just excited. Like
ignorance is bliss.
Exactly. Right?
Let's go play hockey.
We play the defending champs. So like hopefully, you're going to see, because like obviously, in watching those games versus Northeastern, there is a lot of talent on this team. It's just raw and still trying to find a way to develop, hone it in, and get it going. Because like I even go back to Preem's goal he scored in night 1, period 1. That was a beautiful goal that he scored, right? Like obviously working around the defense and then finds a way to go top shelf. So you've seen moments like that where you're like, oh man, there's a lot of skill in this group too. So now it's just finding a way to hone it, get it going, and then also too, hopefully we challenge like some of the vets, right? Like continue to like keep pushing this pace of this team, trying to lead them in the right direction. Hopefully, you never know, right? Like they could shock everyone, and get a big sweep or a split, and like I think that'd be huge for them building confidence moving forward for the rest of the year.
Yeah, like we were doubting this team last week. I'm not gonna lie. So
you were?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm not literally pointing fingers right now.
I think this was you hitting the panic button. Yeah. It was literally you. So, prove us wrong, guys. Prove us wrong again. We'd love to see it. Now, they're not the only one taking on a daunting test. Women's Division 2 going on a daunting road trip this weekend. Justin Forth is going to be joining them for it. It's a long one. Thursday, you're heading out. You're going to go to West Virginia. Then heading up to Lawrence Tech and Adrian. Are you guys, you're going to end up running into the men's Division 1 team, right?
No, because we're going to be... they're going to be out of there Saturday afternoon, and we'll be rolling in late night or Sunday morning.
Gotcha.
I haven't looked at the itinerary. I just trust that it's there.
Yeah, it's there for you. So West Virginia, let's look at that one first. They finished last year number 10 in the Southeast. So you expect this group to have a pretty good showing against West Virginia, but I'm sure it's a group that's hungry after dropping that game to Delaware. Yeah,
I think for us, against West Virginia last year, it was 10-0, 4-0, 4-0, 7-0. So you don't really know what team you're going to run into, and what our execution is going to be like.
Yeah.
So I expect us to dominate, most of that game. But I think we just continue to focus on the little things. Defensively, right now, neutral zone, like basically a lot of things without the puck. We're just really trying to hone those in and look for opportunities to get better there.
And when we had Coach Leon on here last week, I know she was not happy about that Delaware game. You bring it up, game one, and instantly her face turns into a scowl. Walk me through practice this week. What was the energy and the vibe, not only just from the coaching staff, but from the players as well?
Yeah, so post last pod, having conversations with our team, our captains, there was a little bit less focus on high pace. Last Thursday and even kind of this morning, we did a little station work just to improve skills and stuff. But there was a lot of tactic stuff like, hey, everybody get on the blue line. We're going to talk about the defensive zone and responsibilities and who has a question. Because if you have a question, that girl probably has a question too.
Yeah.
And just really trying to maybe tap into the why of what we're doing and just trying to get everybody to buy in and get on the same page. Because obviously we all know it's a long season. And again, we had practice this morning. We practice tomorrow, and then we have 4 in a row. So it's you want them to be physically and emotionally up to the challenge, but it's more of hey, make sure you're eating right, hydrating, get your sleep this week because you're going to be gassed by the end of it, and see if we can, maintain a high level of play for 4 games. Doesn't matter who you play against. That's going to be taxing.
Yeah. So 4 in a row, is that which of these teams are you playing 2 against?
Lawrence Tech.
Lawrence Tech is 2. To me, that one looks like it's the most intriguing one on this slate because, you guys have a history of playing some pretty good games against each other. That was just last year where you guys tied 3-3 and then won. Was that 3-2 they ended up winning? Or was it
they
OT?
tied 3-3 and then won. I said tied 2-2. Sorry. They won 2-0.
2-0. Okay.
So that would have been 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Because last year's season, I think I wrote it down. But they were supposed to go to Lawrence Tech last year, and that game got canceled. I can't remember why.
Weather. Michigan in the spring, it's rolling a dice. So I think Rena did a good job scheduling them this fall. Again. Hopefully there's no snow yet, but Michigan, you never know.
You never know. I'm excited. I wish I could go with you guys. That sounds fun.
You can.
I wish. Okay, we'll talk after this.
Okay, I'm just kidding. But I think I agree. It's the most intriguing, right? So I think on paper, last year they were a good team. They're returning a lot of girls. I was looking at the roster last night. They've got a stud with the last name Bruckheimer or something. It just reminds me of director. But she's, I looked at her points for the last 2 seasons and 2 points a game average.
Yeah.
More than a goal a game. So they've got some top end.
Yeah.
And again, at this level, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. Again, I think we just have to be ready, but that's going to be the biggest test. And Adrian's still going to be good. You just never really know.
Yeah. I was looking at that, Adrian. This is the first meeting between you guys ever?
I feel like ever. I've heard historically us playing Adrian College and consistently in my times of going to nationals, I've always seen Adrian women's D2 there consistently. So there's still a good program that probably has some good top end talent too. So I feel like your 3 games are going to be a good test, but more so also 3 games in Michigan. But this 4-game series, I get this is a daunting road trip. Same time, this is a great simulation for nationals.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have to play 5 good games.
Yep.
Right? And you're going to get one of them that's a little easier. Maybe 2 of them are a little easier. And then it's going to become a grind. So let's be honest. I think the West Virginia game, good tune-up game for you guys to get the legs moving, hopefully get you warm. Lawrence Tech, that's going to be a grind. And I think the team knows it. Adrian, even though you're only playing the 1, didn't make nationals last year, that game's still going to be a grind. Right. So, this is a good early test, I think, for the women's D2 team as well to see how they're going to do as we prepare and build towards March.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to watch. I need to get all my streaming together for the weekend and find out how I'm going to see all these games. But then we move on to men's D3, which was a hard game to locate. We couldn't even find any stats for this game. But Liberty ended up losing game 1, 5-4. And they won 5-1, flipped it around game 2. So kind of like that Delaware situation from last week with Women's Division 2. Hey, game 1, you're getting your first real taste of competition in Division 3. You had won the weekend before pretty handily, but now you're facing a pretty stiff opponent, and it doesn't really work out for you. But then game 2, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like, it's good to see them make those coaching adjustments, right? Like, you really were in that game the whole way, lost but in the final period, because I believe it was 4-4 going into the third, and fortunately couldn't close it out, but then you found a way to win the next night pretty handedly. So making those little bit of adjustments is big for you, and then trying to just prepare moving forward and see now what you're going to do, because everyone wants to take out the champ, right? They're the defending champs of the ACCHL, so you had a in-conference competition versus Rowan, and on the road, and Rowan won to take one, so I'm sure they're feeling pretty happy, at least that they got one. And now for Liberty, you got to regroup and this weekend coming home, because unfortunately they have one of those schedules that's like this.
Yeah,
going to play 2, only 1, 3, none, weekend off, you know what I mean? And I credit Coach Wagner doing his best to try to get this schedule together, because the schedule he had in August is not the schedule he eventually had in mid-September, because he's just I'm trying to fill in games, because keep people either cancel on him going with them coming there, or vice versa, returning the trip too. So
and didn't some jump back to the ACHA?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's a lot of things to manage on that aspect as well. Mm-hmm. But talking to Coach Wagner this morning, he kind of mentioned hey, good first period as far as control. They had 23 shot attempts to Rowan 7, or maybe even 3, something dramatic like that. I think he said maybe 8 of them hit the net. So just dialing in that execution aspect of the game, and then obviously little tweaks here and there. Some things went wrong, and you end up on the wrong side of that game. But good response, right? 5-1. That's pretty hey, we are the better team,
right?
And I think then they proved that, and they coming back. If you're going to split, you want to win that last game on a road trip, making that miserable trip back from New Jersey a lot better.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it'll be fun to see this team and their talent in person again this weekend when Elon comes here on Sunday. So we have some fun games going on at the LaHaye Ice Center this weekend. Men's D2, Lindenwood. You don't want to miss those games. Then Women's Division 1 taking on Rhode Island. The Men's D3 on Sunday against Elon. So when we return next week, we'll get you caught up on everything that happened both home and on the road. We're going to ask Forth to keep a little diary and just, practice thoughts every day.
Pod thoughts.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly. But until then, we'll keep you waiting. Thanks for watching the Rock the Rink podcast. We'll see you guys next time.
Letting me in.